Hey, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to do an update on some of the cars that I had shown on my video and, where we're at right now. So, I spent the weekend messing with the 55 convertible. This car right here. I was underneath of it. Because I want to put new brake lines and fuel lines and things like that on the car. And the front floors are good on the car, but the back floors, I always knew I was going to have to put some patches in them. And I was under there looking at it, and like there's little braces that like go on each side of your front seats, and they got a little rust on the corners to where the seat might move a little bit. And I'm actually going to try to build me a really nice 55 convertible. So what I've decided is, instead of a bunch of individual patches, which would probably add up to more than what the floor pan cost and probably take a lot more time, I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to drop the frame out of that car, and I'm going to put a one-piece floor pan in it, paint the frame, new body bushings, and then sit it back down, and then we'll build from there. And it's not what I wanted, but a convertible doesn't have a lot of structure except for the X-frame and all the bracing in the body, the rear tub itself. That's what keeps your quarter panels, from going in and out where the door's shut, and it keeps the back tub square when the rams are forcing the top up and down. I mean, the floors are everything on a convertible. So as much as I don't want to have to do all that work, that's what I'm going to end up doing. So yesterday I called a restoration place, which is about an hour away from here, to make sure that they had a floor pan, and they had one floor pan in stock. So I gave them a deposit on that, and I'm supposed to go look at some Nomads this weekend, so I can't pick it up this weekend, but maybe the following weekend I'll get the one-piece floor pan, and I'll drop the frame out of it and start cutting out the old floor. And I want to take it from the firewall all the way back to the trunk. I don't want to blend it there underneath the back seat. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do the whole entire thing. I don't care how long it takes. I mean, there's 300 to 500 spot welds there, or not spot welds, but pinch welds I'm gonna have to drill out. It's a deal there. So I was disappointed when that reality set in, and maybe I was in a little bit of denial through the years, but I want to build a nice black top, red interior 55 convertible that just cruises like a brand new car. So that's what it's going to take. So I was also working on the rear end. I'll talk about that a little bit, then I'll let you guys get back to your day. Yeah, so here's the 55 that I'm mentioning. I mean, the front floors and everything's good in it. It's obviously had that. But you see it starts to get little pinholes. And see this? Just little pinholes. So, at the end of the day, it's just going to have to get a one-piece floor put in it. And this is the rear end that I was going to put in the car. I was still going to put this housing in the car. And you can see it's an original P case. But this was a 308 gear. This is original gear off of it. So Sunday I decide I wanted to change it from a 308 to a 355. And here's a 55, 56 housing that had a 355 gear in it. So I get this all set up, and then I'm on try5.com just reading about rear ends and things like that. 55 and 56 did not have a Posi. 57 was the first year for the Positraction. Late, like February, May, something like that. So what they're saying is, this gear that I got on here is a 55 gear. You cannot use it on this housing. So everything that I did was all for nothing. I didn't know this is the first early style rear end that I set up. And basically, I did extensive research over the last couple of days, and basically what they're saying is that the actual longitude of how the ring and the pinion sit in the housing is different from 1955 and 56 versus 57 to 64. So everything looks happy in here, and everything rolls over. It's got a good, real nice backlash to it, but what they're saying is it won't work. So I'm either going to have to buy a new gear set for it or put these 308s back in it. And a 308's a decent cruising gear, but I'm on this car right here, on this 55, it's going to have a 265 with a 4-speed, so I feel a 308's going to be a little bit lazy taking off, to where a 355 would give it, a little bit more of a snap to it taking off. But I mean, just visually looking, that ring gear looks like everything's happy. I was going to, paint it and see what the drive and the coast look like, the wear pattern. But, everything I have read says this, you're asking for problems if you run a 55 or a 56 ring and pinion and a 57 to 64 housing. And this is like a 62 or 3 housing. So not only did I have to suffer the fate of having to, the reality of putting a one-piece floor in this car, then I come over here and get a double dose. I can't get no satisfaction. So here's the date. A would be January 29, and then the 3 at the end would be January 29th, 1963. So that's a 63 housing. But it fits into the category of 57 to 64. Basically, 55 and 56, them need to stay with the Carrier, because here's the 55 Carrier, and they made huge improvements in 57, and this would be similar. This hog case right here would be similar from 57 to 64. So, like I said, I mean, everything, it spins like that thing would live happy, but they're telling me, you try that and you're asking for problems. So I'm gonna have to tear it all apart, and I'll run this ring and pinion if I have to, but I don't really want to. And then another thing on these center sections, hold on one second, because these things are heavy. But another thing on these center section, there's a 3 series and there's a 4 series. And the 370 gear is the cutoff. The 370 ring and pinion is the cutoff where it turns into a 4 series. And this was a 308, so this is a 3 series. And it'll take 308, 336, 355, and I'm not sure if it'll accept a 370 or if 370 starts the 4 series center section Posi unit. And that's how you can tell it's a Posi. Posis are more solid in there versus this one right here. That's just got your spider gears. So, bunch of disappointment for me over the weekend. Like I said, I could have put this in the car and ran a 308 and been happy. It was already all assembled. But now I'm probably going to have to get a new pinion nut, new crush sleeve, and set it back up. But you live and you learn. There's the axle codes if you guys are ever curious about what this housing started life as. It started life as a 308. So anyways, guys, spent the whole weekend out in the garage and get nothing done, so it was kind of deflating. But a lot of times on these cars, you don't just buy a part, boom, it's done. I mean, you got to work through a process, and you got to stay dedicated to it, or it'll conquer you. And I've been around these cars for almost 44 years, so they're not going to conquer me. I'm going to keep giving it to them. Anyways, guys, that's my update. I might have a cool video this weekend. It just depends. You know, it depends on the weather of a couple nomads, 55 nomads I'm going to look at. So we'll just have to see how that turns out. But that's all I got right now. I'll do plenty of videos as I do the floors and things like that. But it's going to be a process, because when I really set in to do something and do a really nice job, I mean, there's nobody in this world that'll be a bigger critic on me than myself. So we'll watch it get done together. Anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for stopping by Don's Hot Rod Garage. I'll catch you guys on the next video.